we're back on Marvel Live, and we are here with the incredible Mariko Tamaki. Hello.
Hey. The incredible Mariko Tamaki.
You are. I have to say, I'm such a huge fan of your work. Even before you came to Marvel, I just feel like your work is so poignant. It has so much feeling and emotion in it. Do you draw mostly from life experience, or do you kind of just follow, like, you know, what your editor kind of gives you, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to make it my own and put my heart in it?
I think I'm like a really intense person, and I try to like ice cube tray that into like what's needed. You know, like I try to make it a useful thing to be like a bit of an overly dramatic person. Like I feel things very deeply, and I try to make that something that is profitable for myself and for Marvel.
But I love that, because I think one of the things about good storytellers is that they take who they are and they take what they love and their lives and their past experiences, and when they can put that into their work and what they love and other people can access it, it's really, really great.
Yeah, it's like you combine all of your nerds, like all comic book writers are huge nerds. They all like British history or like origami or something. So you take that and then you funnel that into a storyline that is fueled by your rocky emotions that have like brought you to the place where you are today.
Which is how you get Civil War zombies. Great, awesome, cool.
Right. Yes.
I do have to take it back, Justin. I feel like this is going to be near and dear to you. In the She-Hulk run, baking videos were important.
Yes.
Why? I just feel like that's such an interesting thing. Like, She-Hulk used baking videos to deal with trauma.
Yes.
Would you recommend that in real life?
Yes.
And where did that come from?
I watched the Great British Bake Off.
I knew it.
So much. I love it. I now, when they're doing, like, someone asked me recently if I knew what a petit four was, and I was like,
oh yeah.
Do I know what a
petit four is? So, and I love the idea that someone who is like a superhero has like the internet like we do, and when she's trying to relax, but then if you look in the background, you can see that she's tried to bake and it's not successful at baking. So there's like messed up stuff in the background. So she herself is not a baker. I am not a baker, because it's like chemistry. I'm not good at chemistry. But like, they're very soothing.
It's all about the therapy. It's not about being edible. It's about the process.
Just the word petit four alone, like, I used to be a waiter and I would serve the petit fours at the end of the meal.
Right.
And we would say, petit fours at the end of your meal. And like, it was like, you know, this $25 word for like $8 worth of tiny baked chocolates.
Yeah, it's flour and water. It's like, cocoa and butter. Yeah, exactly. But it's like food has so many great words, like amuse-bouche.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. So why not incorporate that into comics?
I love it.
So happy
thank
right
you.
now.
Yes.
Thank you for that. I generally find validation in words like amuse-bouche and things like that.
Well, it's like, I just realized what choux pastry means. I used to think it was like SHOE for the longest time.
Right.
Until finally I saw it spelled out and I was like, oh, damn.
Well, if we ever need a Marvel pastry chef, you're a shoe-in.
But now I have to take it back. I mean, folks like us, those two words you just used, I'm very confused. What are these things?
So, petit four.
Well, I know petit four, the other two
Choux pastry is a pastry that is like cooked twice. So you cook it first in like a pot, like you beat flour and eggs, I think, in a pot, and then you bake it afterwards, and it puffs up, and that's what you put like an eclair.
It's true. Or you could use it to, you could fry it, and it would be in beignet territory.
Yes.
Oh.
Wait, so
you know how I feel about beignets.
Exactly.
We're just gonna talk about food.
So then
Totally
when
okay
you,
with that.
I know, done, we're only talking about food
Food
here.
is awesome.
Let's talk about this, X-23.
Yes.
We have, I feel like we're lining up for a battle of the clones.
Yes.
Are you as invested in clone videos?
I am not, but I was so into the cuckoos. I'm into anybody.
I love the cuckoos.
That, like, when I first saw them, I was like, oh my god, they're children of the corn. They're like the creepy clones. Whereas, like, obviously Laura's not a creepy clone. She's like
she's like a friendly clone.
Yeah, well, you know,
With
she's not friendly. She's like a clone.
I was saying, friendly is very generous.
But the cuckoos are like the popular girl clones. And so it's kind of this perfect, but they're also very similar. Like, they have these weird connected histories in terms of how they were created and why they were created. So I just thought, like, that seems like a, you know, also I just wanted to write them. I wanted to write a hive mind where someone is like, actually, I don't like that. And then they're like, we're the hive mind, don't do that. Like, we're doing this hive mind thing. So both of those things.
Where do you get the, like, inspiration or the lightning in your brain to, you know, to write as a clone? You know, like, where does that come from?
I mean, part of it is like it's an assignment, right? Like you get someone who's like, "Do you want to write X-23?" and you're like, "Give me a minute."
Yeah.
And then you have to like go for a walk and like watch a bunch of videos and then like kind of mine all the ideas. Like every time I have an idea, I put it in a notebook. And then when you get a call from Marvel and they're like, "What about this?" You look through your notebook and you see what. And I had just finished reading a bunch of Grant Morrison stuff, so I was instantly like, "Well, I'll do this if I can put these characters in there because they're so rad."
Word.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So we're here at San Diego Comic Con.
We are.
What are you most looking forward to here in San Diego?
I mean, San Diego, being a writer is a very lonely thing. It's very lonely. But this is a place where everybody's here. You know, like it's a chance to see all these people that you've only known through Twitter, and then you like shake their hands in this nervous way that's awkward. And also just writers that I only see like 3 times a year. You go to their booths and you like say hi, and it's like a tiny fake neighborhood of people who all do the same job as you, who can sympathize with what you're going through at any given day.
So you have like a map and a checklist.
Yeah, I just kind of go through and I do all my like, you know, I'm going to buy your t-shirt. Hi, how are you? What's going down? Yeah, there are people who live in the same city as me, but I do not see except for at cons.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is
Amazing.
one of the great things of the con.
Yeah.
I also want to talk a little bit about the hunt for Wolverine.
Yes.
You're into the hunt.
I'm deep in the hunt right now.
There are many hunts for Wolverine. Everybody
Yes.
is looking. You have some bad people looking for Wolverine.
Yes. Yeah, the worst people.
Yeah, not cool folk.
Yeah.
Where did that team idea come from?
Well, I was talking with, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Jordan, and we were sort of sussing out who it would potentially be, Jordan White. And then once we kind of hit on who it could be, then I was like, what if it's just like the worst road trip ever? Like,
Love it.
Like a family vacation, but like the worst family vacation of people who are all out to kill somebody who's maybe already dead. Or, you know, should be dead. So yeah, once we kind of established who it would be, like this kind of back and forth of who I wanted and who it could be, then I just got into it. And then zombies.
And then zombies. Yeah, where? What was it about zombies that were you just like, I want to dig into horror?
Well,
or
they're
which?
kind of like a yucky version of your average, like, you know, whereas someone like, you know, Sabretooth is not going to die, but he's kind of like, you know, he's not yucky. But like zombies aren't going to die because they're gross and falling apart, and no matter what you do, you can like cut off their arms and they're like, I don't care, I'm already dead. So they just
I'm a lover of zombies. I think zombies are pretty cool because zombies can come in many different shapes and forms.
Right, like sleepy, slow zombies versus that kind of like 28 days later, like quick moving zombies.
Moving zombies versus the zombies who just kind of like grow into trees. There's so many different types of zombies.
Yes. So I also love the idea of like a small town that just becomes like Zombie Town. That everybody's just at the bar and they're like worried about like what team's gonna win, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, now we're all zombies.
Right.
And they don't care.
We're the brains.
Yeah, exactly.
You're always back to food.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess. Whoops.
I mean, there are so many references to food in everything I write.
Good.
I feel like I always have a scene that takes place over breakfast that I'll then edit because I'm like, why is this taking place over breakfast? And it's because I'm hungry.
Oh, nice.
Thinking.
So like the physicality of actually inspires your writing as well. So based on like what you're physically feeling at that moment,
Yes.
like it could be. Well, so what would you write about right now?
I mean, right now I'm really in a pizza place.
Oh, really?
Kind of rediscovered pizza, like the fact that it's the crust, not the toppings, is like a new thing that I've just learned.
Don't tell people that. Okay, like that's a well-kept secret.
But I love it.
Right.
So I'm in a very pizza place right now. I feel like I'm in like a mature, like not like a college, like I want pizza instead of regular food, but like I appreciate pizza, and so that's what I want instead of cake. Like it's replaced cake for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I live in Brooklyn, so like, you know, you could prick me and marinara would.
Yeah, exactly. No, I like when it sort of takes over and then you kind of run its course and then you can't eat it anymore.
Fair.
I will do that to like any food. Like I ran out of love for cake. I was in France and I ran out of love for cake because I only ate cake.
Wow.
And then one day I was like, I don't want cake anymore.
I understand.
I'm actually really excited the fact that after this whole conversation, what you have said is that your writing is for everyone because there's clones and there's zombies, and there's food,
Yeah.
and there's cliquish people who like clones, and there's baddies with claws.
Yeah.
I feel like
Ticks all the boxes.
all the boxes.
Anything you need, I can put in there as it connects to my own nerdy interests.
I love
You know,
it.
like as long as it, like if it has like a Michael's crafty element, I can like get into that in some way or another.
Wait, so is there a character, or maybe just something you're into that you haven't put in yet that you want to do?
I mean, I think it would be fun. I'm always into the sort of like backstory of things. Like we were talking about, Scott Westerfield was talking about like that, you know, that sort of like serial killer board with all the pieces of yarn that connect up all the pieces.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I want to do like the backstory where you have the guy going to Michael's to like get the yarn, and he's like, "Do you have red yarn? I like red yarn."
That's amazing.
That kind of like backstory life of like the flip side of the story is something
Yeah.
I'm really into.
Hot diggity.
Yeah.
So how did you first get into comics?
I got into comics because I was living in Toronto and there was a woman who was doing, she had a literary magazine and she was doing like a mini comic book series with women creators. She asked like her friends if anybody wanted to do it, and I had a cousin, Mariko Tamaki, who did comics or was an illustrator, and I was like, I want to do a comic with my cousin, and they were like, it's like Canada, so you're like, great, then you should do that. Let's give you some money to do that. So it was like kind of an experiment, and then it just kind of, once you do something once relatively successfully, then people will just keep giving you opportunities to do it again and again.
Love it.
And yeah, it's
And
became
then
my
here you are.
lifestyle. Now it's what I do. Yeah.
Fun fact, your cousin's artwork is also in the New York subway.
Yes.
There's a bunch of pieces of art which are so telltale her style.
Yeah, yeah. I always want to like cut one of those out of the subway when I see it, but it's never.
Just wait for when the lights flicker.
Yeah.
I feel like when the lights flicker, anything goes, you know?
Yeah. I don't have it. I don't have that. I can visualize doing it. I would write someone doing it, but I would never actually do it myself.
Have you ever written, you know, a lot of the universe, Marvel Universe hangs out in New York, but have you ever written about Toronto? Because I think it's a great city.
I think it's a great city too. I mean, my first graphic novel takes place in Toronto. I feel like there's this kind of notion that anything that takes place in Canada, Americans won't read. I think somebody told me that once.
Do you come to New York to do some research and hang out?
I come to New York anyway because I really like New York. I like it in doses. I
Right.
like a week in New York, and then the honking gets me insane, and I want to retreat back to California where people don't honk their horns unless it's an emergency, and that's when a horn should be
Wait,
used.
horns are not meant to just press on? That's.
I hate it.
I don't even own a car anymore. Don't even look. I was a total joke.
Yeah, I hate it. I feel like New Yorkers are always just like asserting their space in a way that I don't understand.
I had a friend once say that you use your turn signal to signal your intent
Yeah.
to turn.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's a polite request, no? And he's
Yeah.
like, not in New York, kid.
In New York, you just go.